Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I'm going to talk about the mentality of the jinn, inshallah. All benefit that comes from this work is due to Allah alone, and any mistakes are on my part. Please always research all the information that you come across, especially when you're dealing with sihr and matters of the unseen and the shayateen, because all information that is incorrect and not according to sunnah can make your situation worse instead of better. I want to talk a little bit about the jinn and the shayateen and understanding the attitude, so that when you come across them in this situation, which no doubt, whether you're possessed or whether somebody you love is possessed, you will have an encounter with the jinn. I say jinn and shayateen, the difference between the two is a disbelieving jinn, a kafir jinn, is known as a shayateen, the same way as there are shayateen amongst the humankind. The first thing that we need to know about jinn is that there are believing jinn and non-believing jinn. There are Muslim jinn, non-Muslim jinn. There are Muslim jinn that are aware that possession is wrong, and there are Muslim jinn that are not aware that possession is wrong. They can possess a person knowing that it is wrong and continue to do so. That is one of the things that we first must realize when we are encountering the jinn. The second thing is that the jinn have personalities the same way that we have personalities. A jinn can be particularly aggressive. A jinn could be in love with the person that they have possessed. This is important to know because this can be one of the reasons why they have possessed a person. It can shed some insight. This tends to come out during a ruqya session. So for example, if a brother is reciting ruqya upon a person and they ask the jinn, "Why are you here?" the jinn may respond angrily and say, "This person oppressed me or my family." And this is usually due out of ignorance, where a person may have, for example, spilt boiling water down a sink without saying Bismillah, which in this case can burn any jinn that live underneath in the drains, etc. So we need to educate ourselves first of all on a little bit about the jinn, their residency, where they live. As we know, shayateen, they live in the bathroom, they live in graveyards, they live in ice, desolate, dirty places. So whenever we go into the bathroom, we need to make adhkar. So you need to start to educate yourself. If these things are not ringing a bell, if in your mind, if you don't know about these things, then it's probably about time that we start to read up on it. Another thing would be to understand that the jinn, they can be arrogant. Now, I'm not going to speak for all of them. It is a matter of the unseen. There are believing jinn who are worshipping just as we worship in mosques. They worship in Mecca. They want to go to Mecca the same way that we do. But there are arrogant jinn, and when you're dealing with such a jinn, they can behave in a way that they don't care what kind of treatment you're doing. They may laugh when you're doing ruqya treatment, when you're listening to the Quran. They may laugh, they may be spiteful. They may tell you or somebody who's trying to do ruqya on a person that it's not working. So they may laugh and say, "Why are you reciting this? This is not going to do nothing to me. This is nothing, you are nothing." And if you don't know how to respond to such statements, they can begin to affect you and you may fall prey to believing them. So you have to have the kind of mindset where you understand that this is arrogance on their part, and truly they cannot resist the word of Allah, and slowly but surely, it may not be instantly, they will start to react in pain to the Quran. It's just a matter of continuing, and even the worst cases, soon the justice of Allah comes about and the person will start to react. Another thing may be that the jinn are also frightened. So how do you reconcile the two? It is again a matter of your personality. If you are afraid of the jinn, unfortunately they can pick up on this fear and they will begin to play on your fear. They will become more bolder in their actions. This is why you see in a ruqya, you may see a brother do a ruqya upon your husband or your child, and the jinn is cowering in front of this raqi, but when you are doing ruqya, it may not have the same effect. This has got to do with several factors. It can be your general level of piety, it can be your level of taqwa, but one of the factors can also be your reaction to the jinn, so your level of fear. If the jinn can sense that this person is fearless of them, they will begin to fear you. The same way how two people may have the reaction towards, let's say, a mouse. Physically, we are bigger. Physically, we can easily dispose of a mouse, and yet some people know that they can just step on it, and some people are so afraid they'll run away. It's the same kind of principle here, and this would also change their reaction towards each human that the jinn comes across. The fourth thing would be that in response to kafir jinn, the disbelieving jinn, they fear and hate piety the way that we hate their evil. So a believer will hate the disgusting sins and major sins and disbelief with a passion, and we hate the wicked satanic acts that they do, and what the magicians do seems vile to us. But for the shayateen, piety is disgusting for them, is something evil to them, and they react bad, and they are afraid of it. They are afraid of the Quran when they hear it. When we do simple things such as using a miswak and speaking, for them that is so unpleasant. For them, when we put atar, they will recoil from the smell, from the nice smells, whereas we rejoice in smelling nice and looking nice and in beauty. And once we understand this, we have a level of attacking them. So the more you're following the sunnah, and the more you are keeping clean and pure, and you are doing the things that they detest, they will be more affected by this. So the idea is to make their life a misery in being around you, and this is through piety. But that shouldn't be our objective. Our objective should be to come close to Allah, to receive the reward, to get goodness in our lives, and to receive a cure, inshallah. We shouldn't do this just as a reaction to them, but we do bear in mind that this will affect them, so we have to use this as a means of treatment. Another thing will be that the jinn, they will claim to be physical. Some jinn are more afraid than others, the same way some people are more afraid than other people to be as bold. Some people are more bold, some people are more timid, and the jinn will be the same. They will have different levels of courage when encountering humans. So when we pick up on this, we can use this to our advantage. If you know that a jinn is trying to attack you and you remain firm, if you hold the person, if it's somebody in your family, if you hold the person and you remain firm and say, do not touch me, by the name of Allah, you cannot do anything to harm me, do not harm me, they will actually respond to this and become a bit afraid. It's only if you allow them that extra leeway that they will use that leeway, almost like children. Now, I know some cases are really severe, but in each case, people are acting differently. So I cannot speak for each case. This is just general education for those people who are not currently doing this at the moment, that if you do that, inshallah, you will see improvement, as they will realize that I cannot mess with this person. This person is not allowing me. And you have to remember that you are better than them. If it's not a Muslim jinn, if it's a Muslim jinn, you can advise them to fear Allah, to fear the punishment on the day of resurrection, that they shouldn't be in this body. And this is something that we have to do during ruqya, especially if you're doing ruqya in your own home. Please don't do ruqya upon anybody without having the correct education on what to do and the correct information on how to do it. We do have self-ruqya information on the site and ruqya information on how to do it on other people. We're offering a service as well, subject to location in England, inshallah. You can message me and we can arrange that for you as well. Another thing to know about the jinn is they can terrorize you inside your body, outside your body, in your house and in your sleep. If you're experiencing strange dreams, if you are seeing somebody come to you in your dream, so you may see a beautiful man or a woman, or they may not appear as attractive, but you are seeing a being coming in your dreams, then it is likely to be a jinn. And in the case of dreams, you can recite in a dream state. You can recite during an attack. So this is where if you feel that you're experiencing paralysis, you can recite Ayatul Kursi and Fatiha, and inshallah that will go away. You have to understand that some of your behaviors, if you are possessed, can be from preference of the jinn. So if you like all of a sudden to spend a lot of time in the bathroom, for example, or you like to be alone, you have to counter these behaviors and realize that they are not from yourself, as you have another being inside your body, and they prefer those environments and they prefer to carry out those actions. So you need to counter this and perhaps stay with people or continue to recite Quran. If it doesn't like Quran, you have to continue to recite Quran. And get ruqya. If your case is really bad, if some jinn are really violent, they can take complete control of the person for the whole day, for the whole night. They can cause them to cause pain to themselves, to other people, act out to their spouse. If the case is really bad, then I suggest a treatment as soon as possible, either every day or every other day. Inshallah, we may be able to arrange this as well if your location is near enough to us, but we do have a Raqi directory on the site as well, inshallah, so that will help you as well. Jazakallah khair for listening. If you have any more information that you'd like to share, please get in touch with us as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.